Okay, so the next thing up for us, we've seen Avogadro's constant. We've seen what capital N represents in terms of number of particles and how that relates to number of moles. And now we're going to come across a new term, and this term is called molar mass. And you can probably guess what the term means. This is basically the mass of 1 mole of a substance. The substance could be an atom, ion, molecule, ionic compound, whatever. It is the mass of 1 mole of a substance. Basically, it's the mass of an Avogadro's number of particles. You've already seen this. You've defined a mole like that, because if you remember, 1 mole is how many particles? 1 mole is as many particles which will have the mass of carbon 12 as 12 grams. So what is 1 mole? Is the number of particles as many as the number of atoms is as many as they are in 12 grams of carbon 12, which is 6.02 times 10 power 23 atoms. So we knew that this many atoms of carbon have a mass of 12 grams, which is why we call that 1 mole. So basically, another word of saying this is that the molar mass of carbon is 12 grams for every 1 mole, hence 12 grams per mole. That's our unit, 12 grams per mole. In fact, if sodium is 23, you could say that the molar mass of sodium, meaning the mass of 1 mole of sodium, is 23 grams per mole. Now, it can apply to ionic compounds, covalent compounds, anything. It's the mass of 1 mole. It's the same thing as you've probably been using MR, but it is more, you could say, more appropriate to use the term molar mass. So if iron is 55.8, what I'm saying is 1 mole of iron, that means the molar mass of iron is 55.8 grams per mole. So when I say the iron is 55.8 grams per mole, I'm saying 1 mole of iron is 55.8 grams. That's what the units mean. So if I have oxygen molecule, remember the atom is only 16 mass, AR is 16, but O2 molecule, the MR will be 32. So the molar mass will be 32 grams per mole. So basically, it's the MR in grams per mole. That's what the molar mass is. For ionic compounds, it'll be formula units. So if I have calcium carbonate, it's basically its relative formula mass is 100.1. So therefore, its molar mass, it would be 100.1 grams per mole. So 1 mole of this compound will be 100.1 grams. And why do we do this? Because it helps us find another relationship between moles and mass. You have been using some version of this in your earlier classes in O-levels, IGCSE, and that relationship is number of moles is mass of something over its molar mass. In symbols, it is small n is equal to small m over capital M. The unit for molar, the expression or the symbol for molar mass is capital M, and small is actual M, mass, small mass. And you might have recognized this in O-levels and IGCSE as mass over MR maybe, but it really is mass over molar mass. Molar mass is the MR in grams, and there are units for this. So if you remember, the left hand side has to be moles, and mass is in grams, and molar mass is in grams per mole. So when you notice, the grams cancel out and the units are satisfied. Hence the formula is really, or the relationship is, number of moles of a substance is the mass of that substance over its molar mass. And sometimes you can use the mass to find the moles, or sometimes we have moles to find the mass. And that's why this relationship is so important to us. It's what we need in the lab. So we can measure out certain masses and know how many moles is that. Or we want a certain amount of moles, so we can find out how much mass do I need to measure. So that's why this comes in handy. Alright, so let's apply this to some examples. Let's say we are told to find the number of moles of copper atoms in 127.1 grams of copper, and they want to know how many number of moles of copper atoms is this. Now I'm taking this from your worked examples, the example right here. So what do you need? you need the formula. Number of moles is mass over molar mass, and because it's copper, you need the AR too. And from the data booklet or the periodic table, the AR is 63.5. That's the relative atomic mass of copper. What that means is its molar mass is 63.5 grams per mole. So when I find this out, I know the mass is 127.1 grams and the molar mass is 63.5 grams per mole. So the AR in grams per mole is the molar mass, and this math comes out to 2.001 moles.
Quick pause. If you're finding value in this explanation, there's so much more to discover at Alt Academy, where we break down every A-level concept with the same clarity. Now back to the video lesson.
Of copper, which by the way in 3 significant figures would be 2.00 moles of copper. Alright, another example given is, alright, so how many moles is 11 grams of CO2? So how many moles is this? Well, first I'll find the MR of CO2, because without the MR I can't solve this. That's 12 plus 16 times 2, that comes out to 44. So what that means is the molar mass is 44 grams per mole. So then I will do my formula, which is I will use my formula mass over molar mass, and I'll just scroll up a little bit. So this would be, I want to find the number of moles. The mass is 11 grams, and the molar mass is 44 grams per mole. And then the grams cancel out. 11 over 44 is 0.25 moles of CO2. That's how much I have. I have 0.25 moles of CO2. Alright. So in addition to finding the number of moles of a certain mass, we can also find the mass of a certain moles. And we have multiple uses for that. You want to measure out something. We want to measure out exact amounts. Sometimes, let's say I want to actually measure out exact amount of 0.5 moles of nitric acid, for that, or HNO3 compound. For that, I need to know how much mass is that. Now, this is in your notes as a worked example. I will first find out the MR of nitric acid. So the MR of nitric acid is hydrogen plus nitrogen plus 3 oxygens. Now the MR comes out to 63. What does that mean? That means the molar mass is 63 grams per mole of HNO3. That's the molar mass of HNO3. So I want to find the mass. So basically what I have is I have the number of moles. The number of moles I've been told to use is 0.5 moles. I need to find the mass, but the molar mass I've already found is 63 grams per mole. And this also has a unit. This is 0.5 moles. If you're a stickler for units, you should write that. And you don't have to. I like to write it so that I can even show they cancel out. So the moles will cancel out when you take it this side, and you get the mass in grams. You can ignore the units if that's confusing for you, but in this case it'll come out to 31.5 grams in the end of HNO3. What that means is if I take this many grams of HNO3, I will get half a mole of HNO3. Alright, let's take a look at another example. Now in this worked example, what they're asking you to do is find the identity. So they've been given you the mass, and they even found the moles for you. And from the mass and the moles, you got to find the molar mass. And once you find the molar mass, you can find the AR and hence the identity of the metal. So in this relationship, number of moles is what? Mass over molar mass. You have to find capital M, molar mass. You know the number of moles is 0.04071. The mass is 2.117, and you got to find capital M. And capital M in this case exactly comes out to 52.00 in grams per mole, which really means the AR I'm looking at in the periodic table is 52.0. So whichever metal is closest to that. And if you look at the periodic table, the metal that has this AR is chromium. So here we could use the mass and the number of moles to find the identity of an element. That's one other use case for this. Now let's combine what we've studied so far. I'm saying let's take the idea that we already did. The number of moles is the number of particles over Avogadro's number. And we just learned that if you know the mass, you can also find the number of moles by using mass and molar mass. So now we have two relationships. And we can actually use both of these together to find other things, like the mass of a certain number of particles. Like, for example, somebody might say, hey, find the mass of 100 atoms of copper. Like, okay, well, the long way is to find the mass of one atom by using the mass of protons, neutrons, electrons, and then multiply by 100. The other way is to use these two relationships. But because I want to find the mass, I know that I need the formula. Which one? I need this formula, because I want to find the mass of copper. But if I want to find the mass of copper, I need to know the moles and the molar mass. The molar mass is easy because the AR is 63.5, so I can get the molar mass. Molar mass will be 63.5 grams per mole. What I don't have is the number of moles. So I will find the number of moles using this relationship, because the number of moles is the number of particles over Avogadro's number. Number of particles is 100 atoms only, and the Avogadro's number is 6.02 times 1023. So how many number of moles of particles do I get? I get 1.661 times 10 minus 22 moles. Now I'm using 4 significant figures, and then I'll round off to 3. So here I got these many number of moles of copper. So that means this many atoms of copper is this many moles. And once I have that, I can use this relationship. In this relationship, I have the number of moles is what? 1.661 times 10 minus 22. And number of the mass is what? You have to find the mass. But now you know the molar mass, which is 63.5. Now this is in moles, and this is grams per moles. So the final answer will be in grams. So all I got to do is multiply the number of moles by the molar mass to get that. And here I get the mass, in this case, a very small mass, 1.055 times 10 to the power of minus 20. This is correct to 4 significant figures. You can round this off to 3 if you want, which will become 1.06 times 10 minus 20 grams. But I'm just showing you the method here. This is one way to find the mass of a certain number of atoms. This is by far the easier way. What you do is you find the number of moles that these atoms represent, and then use the formula number of moles is mass over molar mass to get the mass. That's literally it. Absolutely. So this is how you can convert from a number of particles to moles to its mass, using both formulas in tandem. All right. Hey there. If you found this A-level chemistry lesson helpful, why don't you head over to our website, altacademy.org, where you can sign up for the full A-level chemistry course. In addition to chemistry, you can sign up for physics, biology, math, or 4 other A-level subjects. Thousands of students have already taken the leap. What are you waiting for?